Good morning. I'd like to open with a version by Chip Davis of Good Christian Men Rejoice.
You can applaud her. She is a gift to us, isn't she?
Yes.
Yes. Well, good morning. This is Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. And I have a gift for you. Well, not actually for me, but since we're all one, it can be for me. You were born. God created you. And when God created you in His own image and likeness, with that came gifts. Peace, of love, of creativity, of charm, of giving. All of the wonderful attributes of God were placed within you as a gift of life. Now, what are you going to do with that gift? You can put it on the shelf, maybe swap it on one of the gift swap things. You're going to give it away, because when you give it away, then you are using the gifts of God. I know. So have some happy gifts, wonderful gifts, and we'll go sing a song about gifts, I think.
Okay, so this is a typical call and response. So I will play your part so you'll know what to sing. So it goes like this. Okay, and then the second response is. Got it? There's a star in the east on Christmas morn. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. It will lead to a place where stay no more. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. Rise up, shepherd, and follow. The star of Bethlehem.
carry on with this gift thing. You were given love at the very beginning of your life, which carries with you all the time. We have so much love in us. And if we don't give it away, we won't keep it. I would like us to recognize that love in us and give it away. Give it away every time you speak to somebody, every time you look at somebody, or you see somebody across the street. Send them love. Give them your love. And right now, let's recognize the love that we have within each other. And not do it the usual way, but let's say the Christ in me loves the Christ in you. And then do it to everybody all day long for the rest of your life, and you will be right. Okay, let's do the Christ in. Oh, are we recognizing anybody new? Is there anybody new with us today? Okay, well, let's do it to each other. We need to love each other. Okay, the Christ in me loves the Christ in you. And we're singing another song now?
Yes, indeed. Angels sing glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy on God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic hosts proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Our herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Hail the herald, the Prince of Peace, hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen he with his wings. All he makes his glory by, more than ever, more may die. Born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Our herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's a beautiful day. Glad to have a wonderful speaker today. Good to see all of you. It's a wonderful Sunday morning. So let us affirm our positive note about our Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. I'm sure it's back up there. So all together.
Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center is a radiant center of divine life, light, and love. Where a thriving, prosperous spiritual community that honors the divine presence of all and celebrates our oneness and loving service and community.
And then may we say the Lord's Prayer together, please.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
And now we'll stand and sing We Three Kings.
travel so far. Field and fountain, roar and mountain, flowing round her soul. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king in Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown again, King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of light, star with royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light.
Okay, now it's time for prayers and concerns, celebrations. If you have someone you'd like a prayer for yourself, for your pet, for a friend, or you have a celebration that you'd like to lift up, hold that in your heart for a few moments. Come back into the room. You know that prayers said together are more powerful. So let us say, as we center ourselves in one presence and one power, we realize that our thoughts have the power to heal and help us. We set them now, carrying love, peace, joy, and life. Situations and celebrations that we hold in our hearts. Walk by thought, and wherever we are, we transform the world. Amen.
And part of our tradition during the Advent season is to light the candles and have a scripture reading. And our wonderful pianist, Paulette Amory, is going to do our candle lighting. So, Paulette.
Good morning again. I'm lighting the candle of love today. The scriptures from John 15:12. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. The Christmas story abounds with love. Gabriel's message to Mary, the courage of the shepherds to leave their posts, the Magi traveling under the guidance of the star, the arrival of a child who would later show love and kindness and whose teachings would bless others for centuries. As I light this candle, I open my mind and heart to the healing, forgiving, empowering energy of love. The affirmation is, I am aligned with God and I respond with love.
Thank you, Paulette. And can we all stand and sing our next song, please? you know, Christmas is right around the corner. So I thought you all might like to hear a few quotations about Christmas from some of our writers and authors and famous people in America. So Edna Ferber says, Christmas is not just an event. It's in fact a feeling that encompasses our soul. David Jeremiah says, all the Christmas presents in the world are worth nothing without the presence of Christ. Things we remember. Irma Bombeck says, we are better throughout the year for having become a child again at Christmas time. And I'm sure that any of y'all who have ever watched the movie It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart knows this quotation. Look, Daddy, teacher says that every time a bell rings, an angel hits his wings. There you go. And Jimmy Stewart says, attaboy, Clarence, congratulations. I'm sure you all remember that. Anyhow, just a few thoughts. So our guest speaker today is Carylanne Steinberg, who we've had before, and we know how good she is. And she's a life and soul coach. She's an intuitive spiritual guide. She's a master energy practitioner. And she's a meditation leader who's committed to helping people awaken, heal, and evolve. And her subject today, I hope I get this right, is transformational moments near death and love. So, Carylanne, we look forward to hearing you.
Good morning, Unity. How is everyone today? Wonderful. I'm so delighted to be here. I just love driving here and just walking into this beautiful space, and everything's so festive. It's just lovely. And let's take a moment to just turn to gratitude. How grateful I am to be alive and awake today, to be in this beautiful space with all of these beautiful people, and for those joining us online. We are just so grateful for this season of love and joy and peace and light, and to be the presence of love. We are so grateful. Love, what a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful expression. And we are the expressions of love. That is everything that we are. That is everything that Christ is and was and will ever be. And love is eternal, just like we are eternal. Light is eternal. The one presence is eternal. And we all are given all the gifts, as Susan said, all the faculties of the Creator. We all have that in us, you know. And so when I was preparing for this day, I was really thinking about transformational moments and how transformational moments bring us closer to our communion with God, with the presence. And so a transformational moment is a moment that changes you. It changes your consciousness. It changes something inside of you that allows and supports you to live differently than you have been living. It gives you a new perception, and it's more than an aha moment. It's something that literally takes you from standing in this space to standing in a different space. Okay? And it can occur expectedly or unexpectedly. A lot of times transformational moments are unexpected because we're not expecting this new perception. We're not expecting this new idea. We're not expecting something to happen in our lives that we weren't planning for. And all of these things, the good things that we consider good, even though it's all good, all help us to transform. You know, we are here to transform. And we are here to use our gifts to help others transform. That's what we're doing here, right? We're here to love and to learn and to grow and to evolve and to transform. So this transformational activity that I'm speaking of really does have an opportunity to change the way we think, the way we act, the things that we believe, the way that we operate in our lives. You know, more and more when we are able to live from the mind of God and live from that Christ within, we are living in our true, authentic nature. Okay? So that's what a transformational moment is. It leads us to live and move in a new direction. Now, Jesus, the Christ, Yeshua, literally is and was a message of transformation. He taught us about love and peace, and that love really is the only causation. And so he is the one that we look to be who we are, to be the whole kind of enchilada of who we are. You know, we look to the Christ. And we look to the Christ within us to be the perfect expression. You know, I was talking to one of my chiropractors, and I said, "How are you?" And he said, "I'm perfect." And I said, "Really?" I said, "That's fantastic." And he said, "My soul is perfect." And I said, "Yes." And it reminded me many years ago when I was first really stepping onto my spiritual journey. I remember I was in a very kind of, I would say a low point. I was really not understanding who I was, and I walked into this bookstore, and this woman says, "Hello," and I said, "Hello," and she says, "How are you?" And I said, "I'm okay," and I said, "How are you?" And she goes, "I'm perfect in every way." So everyone that's here and everyone that's out here watching, your soul is perfect. You are perfect. In the eyes of the one, you are perfect. So transformational moments, near-death experiences, and love is the conversation, yes? So a near-death experience is an experience where you come close to what we call death, or you come close to starting something completely different. For some, it's an out-of-body experience. For some, their heart literally stops beating, and they have an experience of possibly journeying or possibly having a contact or an experience with someone who's crossed over. Sometimes they will literally meet the Christ or the Buddha or the Divine Mother. It's an experience that alters the life that you're living, okay? And my belief literally is that it realigns you. It realigns you with the plan that God has for you. So, Yeshua ben Joseph, the Prince of Peace, the Christ, brought into existence the consciousness of love. And we, I believe, are all striving to live and be that consciousness. We are here to love. We are here to live. We are here to evolve. We are here to become the greatest expressions that we can be. So, God is love, and love is God. And that presence is everywhere and everything, and there are no exceptions. And separation is a myth. We are never ever separate from the one, ever. Even when we're not feeling good, even when something doesn't go our way, even when we don't agree with what other people are saying, we are never separate. And it's so very important, especially at this time, to recognize that we are all one of the one. And this is part of the awakening consciousness that we are stepping into. Okay? So when I was about maybe 8 or 9, my neighbors who attended a church regularly, I was raised in the Jewish faith, so we went to temple, we went to synagogue, and they invited me to go. And I was very, very excited. And so, and it was really close to where we were living. So we get in the car and we go, and we're kind of driving down. There's like this long road, and the church is at the end of the road, and I was just feeling like all this excitement. And honestly, I didn't even know who Yeshua was. I didn't even know who Jesus was, because they didn't really talk about him in the temple. And so we get there, and I get out of the car, and there's this absolutely exquisite stained glass window of him. I had this feeling like, here you are. Here you are. And I literally felt like I heard him say, yes, and here you are, finally. And it was just a very profound experience for me. And I remember going home and saying to my mom, I met Jesus today. Like, how come we don't go here? And she said, well, we go here and we do this. And I said, yes, Jesus is a rabbi, though. He's Jewish. Like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Now I get it. Now that I have all this awareness that I didn't have. The truth is that since we are all one, and since there isn't any separation, whoever and whatever you believe God to be is perfect. You are a light. Whatever you believe, you are that. You are that. So the first, what I would call near-death or awakening experience I had was when I was about 19, 20. I had gone down to the beach. I was still living in New York, where I was raised. And I'd gone down to the beach, and it was like maybe 8:30 in the morning, and I was a strong swimmer. And so there's not really too many people around, maybe a couple of people here and there. And so I dive in, and I'm just swimming, and I'm feeling my oneness, because God is the ocean, yes, and we are the waves of the ocean. And I'm swimming, and all of a sudden I realize I am like really far out there. Like, I'm way, way out. And I started to get just a little bit concerned, and then I started swimming back, and all of a sudden, the current changes, and I can't seem to get to the shore, and I keep being pulled underneath the water. And at this point, I was pretty scared, and then after a while, I surrendered. And I started to kind of float to the bottom. And that was the last thing I remember about that. And then, in I don't know how many moments, the next thing I knew, I slammed onto the beach. And I felt this presence, like this huge archangel. And I had this awareness that something so much greater than myself had changed the water. And remember, there's a song called Mary, Did You Know? And she says, Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the seas with one hand? And the first time I heard that song, I wept and wept and wept. But I didn't tie it together. And so I end up on the shore. My face is in the sand, and I'm like, oh my God, I made it. Like, I'm alive, I'm okay. And I just felt this change within me. And I started to look at everything differently then. I started to see things differently. Not to the extent that I'm seeing them now. It was a transformational moment. I never looked at the ocean again the same. And I knew that something was different. I didn't know what to do with it. I just knew that something was different. And later on, when I was studying hypnotherapy, we were doing a lot of regression work. And I went into a regression of that time. And Yeshua was there, and the guardian angel was there, and the message that came through was that it was an awakening moment because my path was getting ready to change. And at the time when I turned 24, I had another experience that radically changed my life. Radically. I fell asleep and I woke up 2 days later, and I was completely changed. I was completely psychically open. I was completely different. And I was scared. I was really, really scared because I had no concept. And I had so much sensitivity that the only person that I could really be around was my mom. And I know I've talked about this a little bit before, how I went through all this depression and anxiety, and I was put on all this medication, and then finally, 7 years later, found someone who could help me. But that's not the story today. The story, the conversation today is that we are given these transformational moments. We are given these opportunities to become closer to the Christ, to become closer to God, to Spirit, Creator. And it's in our willingness to have these experiences that literally make us more of who we are. Yes? So I remember I had those two experiences. And then later on, I was working in a restaurant, and it was a Sunday morning, and these people came in 2 by 2, and they asked, does anyone want to accept Christ? And I literally walked up and said yes, not even knowing what I was doing. Like, I didn't even know what I was doing. My soul knew what I was doing. And again, there he was. And then again, when I went through that healing time in Florida, I walked into the Unity of Fort Myers, and there he was again. And when I went to the Oneness Blessing training, that I wasn't really sure I was meant to take, there he was again. He's always there. He's always there. And that presence lives in us. That presence is who we are. So, many people go through life feeling like something's missing. And I will tell you that I went through many years feeling like something was missing, because for me, I didn't know who I really was. I didn't know that I was an expression of God. I didn't know that. I thought that God was kind of up there and I was down here. And that's not the case. That's not the case. God, the presence, Spirit, lives within us. Every one of us, all of us, we are all emanations of the One. Yes? That's who and what we are. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love. And that's the lighting of our candle today, to love That's what he taught us. That's what all of them taught us. That's what the Divine Mother teaches us. That's what the Buddha teaches us. That's what Kuan Yin teaches us. It's all about love. So, we are in a time of transformation. And I imagine some of you, maybe even all of you, has had a transformational moment that changed everything for you. And I encourage you at some point today to write about it. Because when you write about it and you give it time and energy, you learn something new from it. You know, every time I talk about these experiences that I've had, something new awakens in my heart. And I understand more. You know, I remember at that time, I was arrogant. When I was 18, 19, I was fearless. I thought nothing could touch me. It wasn't the strength of God though. And I didn't even know that I was arrogant until I had this experience because it humbled me. When you're out in the water and you can't get back in, and there's no one around, God is around, always, in every second, in every moment, right? The presence. And when you turn yourself over to that presence of love, everything changes. Everything. You become who you came here to be. That's what happens. That's what happens. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful when you look at someone and you see them through those eyes. And what if we could see everyone through those eyes? What if everyone we see and everyone we meet, just like Susan said, I love the Christ in you. I see the love in you. What if we were seeing everyone like that, even the people that we disagreed with? What if we looked beyond and saw that which is true? What if we did that? Wouldn't that be a joyful world? Wouldn't that be a joyful world? So what do we want to commit to today? We're moving towards, actually, on December 25th this year, we're celebrating Christmas and Hanukkah. So we are celebrating the light. And we are celebrating the birth of light. We are celebrating the birth of love, yes. So what do we want to commit to this season? What would we like to commit to? Would we like to commit to being more love? Would we like to commit to being kinder? Would we like to commit to living in our truest expression? What would we like to commit to? You know, Friday night I was facilitating a Mother Mary meditation event, and we went on a meditational journey, and when we came out, everyone gets to share. And one of the women, when she went to the altar, when she went to the well of the two Marys, she asked, how can I love more? How can I love more? How can we love more? How can we love ourselves more? How can we love our neighbors more? How can we love the world more? How can we do that? That would be a good thing to meditate on. You know, about 7 years ago, when I thought I had completely overcome all of the anxiety that I had ever experienced, I had an opportunity and a transformational moment. my mom was in the hospital, and we knew that the time was shorter. And I drive down to Fort Myers, Florida from here, and I get to the hospital, and I'm feeling totally okay until I step into the hospital, and then I started to feel anxious. And my mom was on the 4th floor. And part of the anxiety that I experienced was heights and not knowing how to get out of buildings. And I can't believe I just said that. Hopefully that's completely transcended now. And so I couldn't go. I couldn't get on the elevator. And then I see the chapel, and I went in there, I got on my knees, and I said, Jesus, I said, Yeshua, you have got to get me up there, because I can't do this on my own. I know that I can't do this on my own. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed, and I was like, okay. And I literally felt the presence beside me. And I walked up the stairs, and my sister's like, come on. And I'm walking, and I gotta tell you, this was like one of the biggest transformations of my life. And there's all these hallways and corridors, and my sister's like, she just keeps going this. And I'm shaking. But there was a peace too. When I get to the room, and everything becomes still. And I see my mama, and I kneel down on the floor. And I put my hands on her hands, and her eyes open, and she kissed my hands. I was like, thank you, that I made it. And then there was joy. Biggest transformational moment. You have to be willing to face your fears. Your breath will always carry you. You know, that's the message that I always get. That was the message that I got on the beach that day. Your breath will always carry you, even if it stops. Even if you stop breathing for a couple of moments, you will breathe again because the breath is life, right? The breath is God. You know, one of the ways to love more is to be vulnerable. Is to let people see you. That's one of the ways. That's one of the ways. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love everyone with your heart and your soul. That's what he said. Let's turn to our meditation. Let's close our eyes. I invite you, those of you that are watching us, close your eyes, get comfortable in your space. Put your feet on the floor, connect to Earth Mother beneath your feet. Come into your heart space. Take a couple of breaths. Bring your full awareness and attention into your heart. How can I love more? And as you're breathing, and as you're contemplating that question, begin to imagine that you are standing outside the barn. And inside the barn, it's Mother Mary and Joseph and Jesus, the babe. And you walk into the barn. It's filled with light. Imagine this in your mind's eye. Use your imagination. And you walk up to Mary. She's holding the light. She's holding him. And she looks up at you with all the love in her spirit. And she says, come closer. And she takes the babe. She puts him in your arms. Imagine that you're holding him. And you look into his eyes, and he looks into your eyes. And there is love. Pure, divine love. And let us sit with him, with love for a moment. How can I love more? He will tell you. Love will tell you. You can't help but smile as you hold him. Feeling love. And you hand him back to Mary, the beloved Mary, knowing that this is a transformational moment and you have been changed by this experience. And you look around the park, feeling love, knowing this is who you are, this is who I am. And you take this experience into your heart and you carry it with you. Take a breath here. Know that you can always, always take a breath and remember love. When you feel ready, once again feeling your feet upon the earth, the support of the chair beneath you. And you allow your eyes to open. I am love. I am love. We are love. Thank you.
I like to follow that with a version of Christmas tree, made famous by Vince Guaraldi, who made jazz really cool, and frankly, peanut shells.
something certainly for us to think about as we go off this week. And during your talk, one of my favorite quotations actually came to mind. And it goes like this: life is not measured by the number of breaths that you take. Life is measured by the moments that take your breath away. I always love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyhow, thank you. You did a wonderful job. Appreciate it. Now's the time for our tithes and offerings. And if you would hold your offerings in your hand or put your hand over your heart, and together we'll say our prayer of plenty. Together, in the infinity of this moment, all is perfect, whole, and complete. We acknowledge the one presence and the power expressing through us in Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center every moment of every day. We open our hearts to the wisdom and intelligence that exists in the universe, and in our minds to which all resources and all being comes. All death and disease, and needs of the net in this moment, by another is holding our highest good and so it is. And our basket is right there. Anybody would like to drop their tithing or donations in there.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful for all that we have. We are so blessed. We are so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so blessed.
So let's bless the offering and say, Sweet Spirit, thank you for all that is shared with Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. Anyone who donates their time, their talents, their money, because without all of that, we could function here every week. We need to pay our bills, but we are so thankful for everything that is given to Unity Williamsburg Spiritual Center. Say thank you, God. Amen.
So for the announcements for this week, first of all, next Sunday, our guest speaker is going to be Carylanne Steinberg. And also next Sunday is going to be our special Christmas luncheon, where our board is putting together a wonderful meal and has asked people just to bring in a side dish. They're bringing in all the main course. So how wonderful, we're looking forward to that. There's a board meeting today after the fellowship in the back, and anybody who's interested to attend is certainly welcome to come in and sit in and find out how we do business. On Tuesday, the monthly Sound of Soul event will be held from 7 to 8 p.m. this Tuesday. On Wednesday, Jamie Fitzwater will lead the weekly yoga class from 7 to 8 p.m. On Saturday, we will celebrate the winter solstice with Reverend Denise and Carylanne Steinberg, and that will be from 11 to 12 here in the church. And I think that I've always been fascinated with both the spring and the winter solstice. I think those are those moments that we're talking about, where transformation does take place. So you're all welcome on Saturday. Also on Saturday, Daryl Key will lead the weekly meditation class from 1 to 2. And there's flyers on all of these events back there on the board. Does anybody from the congregation have an announcement? No? Okay. If you would, Carylanne, we want to bless you. So if you'll be in the middle, and we're going to make a circle and sing oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Jude is going to be the chaplain today, and she'll be back there if anybody would like to meet with her.
Where is everybody? Oh, we're here, keep coming. Okay. Okay, you're in the center and we can bless you. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you. We behold Christ in you. Thank you. Thank you.
For having me today.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, and we all agree. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Take your love and
Spread your love.
Yeah.